Praise Allah. I'll open this up with a Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, Drew Ali, Ameen. First, I rise giving perfect and infinite praises to Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Honors to the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. All minor prophets, including Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the fifth and last strong prophet, the Jesus return. Honors to the forerunner of the Jesus return, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the harbinger, the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Messiah Garvey Bay, the John the Baptist return. Today's show is called Lessons in Life, Part 11. I've been hesitating to do this show. I never knew I was going to do a Part 11, but the things I've been experiencing for the past decades of my life, I realize and understand conditions and behaviors, but sometimes people gotta really understand the difference between right and wrong and right, and not the reciprocal thereof. You gotta hold yourself accountable and hold accountability to your own action, not based upon someone else. Now, it's a difference when someone can provoke you to act, to defend yourself, and so on and so on. There's nothing wrong with that. But the police officers, the slave patrol is going to look at it as a different scenario, that you harm someone, you did this intentionally, so you won't get locked up. So the victim is always going to be a victim, but the victim is not going to prevail in the act of violence of self-defense. The best thing you can do is try not to get into an altercation, or avoid the altercation at all costs. But by all means, if you have to defend yourself, go ahead and do it. I will never stop anybody from defending themselves. But if you are defending yourself out of vanity, and you think because someone got the last word and that truth start eating you up inside, then you're the one with the problem. But you have to be the one with the solution. You have to fix your own thinking. You have to recognize where you have messed up. You have to recognize the situation at hand and how it all came about. The most peaceful person is the person who gets picked on, because they're not the ones who is loud, and they're not the ones who is spitting in people's faces and doing all this hatred, slander, lewdness, murderous, theft, and everything that harms act. And this is all the lower self, whether the brothers and sisters want to see it or not. People don't ever want to be held accountable for their actions. People who are like the Jezebel women, who don't want to hold no accountability for what they do. They don't sit down and reason with things in life. The problem is, majority of the common people, the so-called Negro, blacks, and colors, Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, Asians, a lot of lewdness acts come from them too as well. And it's not just one specific people. See, I would never call this a black or white thing, because we're not colors. We'll never be colors. The problem is that we are so subjugated and institutionalized to believe one type of narrative, that we are what the job application, or what the school application, or whatever the application dictates to us, to say who we are. That we will never be ever in our life. This is all orchestrated. The reason why I call this show Lessons in Life is because it's a variety of different scenarios and situations that we all face to a certain degree, whether it be the spouse, the so-called boyfriend, girlfriend, the folly with your Kufar friends, and your folly with your religions, or whatever the case may be. But we can never really look at what the problem is when we remove ourselves from the situation. And if we don't remove ourselves from the situation, we're going to be doomed for failure. I never see a specific thrive where everybody's doing good. And this is the church. Everybody's doing good. The tithe and offerings is going to feed the people entirely as a whole. You know what I'm saying? The preacher man is working. He ain't dipping in. He ain't have his hand in the cookie jar. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't got multiple women all over the place trying to be, like Solomon or whatever, trying to have X amount of wives, etc. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta get together. There's no point of trying to be and do harm to yourself or to anybody without a reasonable doubt of sadistic behavior, which you all suffer. We all suffer PTSD to a certain degree. Yes, that's true. We all do. But it doesn't mean that we all have to hold everybody accountable, because not everybody's going to react to the situation the same. Oh, snap. Praise Allah. Jesse Cruel, Islam, yeah, heaven high. Peace and love. I see you in the chat. Yeah, sure, give you a shout out. Excuse me, family. Gotta do something right quick. Gotta speak to the beloved people today. And right now, I got a word from my sponsor, which is me. Yes, me, your brother man, Moorish Life. Right now, I got some errands to run today, so I want to be on my way to do what I got to do. And you all check this out. Islam, there's a lot to really take into consideration. One thing in life you must understand is there's duality. And for those people out there who do not understand what duality is where you have two sides and one has to balance the other. It's just like the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, where they cannot mix with each other and they all have their purpose. There's things that I've seen with my own eyes that a lot of people really would not comprehend. I mean, homelessness is really on a rise more than what people really think about it. For me to be in San Fernando Valley, Burbank, you know what I mean, and observing the attitudes and everything, when they talk about redlining, it's real. And the neighborhoods that used to be full of Caucasian, a lot of people from the South have moved into like California, Colorado, Chicago, and et cetera, New York, Maine, different parts. So what ended up happening was they ended up being pushed out. So now everything goes back to what is actual and what is factual.
what is the truth and what is not the truth. People want to throw dirt on other people, stating that, oh, well, you have a choice to decide whether you're going to take the drugs or not. See, you have to understand a group of people don't all have the same state of mind. A group of people are really like jobless, and they need a specific remedy real fast to
Islam, Kai, Vibez, Islam, Heaven Eye. Yeah, thanks for the sub and the like. Yeah, Heaven High too. Praise Allah. Yeah, you're the best too. Praise Allah for you. Without doubt or contradiction. You are the best because Allah is the best because Allah made you.
accommodate their living circumstances and situations. And when they did that redlining in the 1970s, 60s, 80s, and stuff like that, when that crack and cocaine pandemic came around, and smuggling drugs in the community by the CIA and Ku Klux Klan, they're the ones who causes chaos and division of family. But you also have to take into consideration that it goes far deeper than what you know. They were trying to exterminate the so-called Negro, black, and coloreds because they know that they're indigenous. They're giving them a false narrative in school and history, telling them that they're African American, that our roots is in Africa, that we were brought here on slave ships and all that crazy, derogatory comments and hallucinations, indoctrination, and all this other stuff. As I'm listening to all the stuff that's going on, and people repeating, regurgitating what they're hearing, doesn't really make sense to me, doesn't sit too well with me, because how is it that the European man, the so-called white man, came here and found his nation, and he became the founding father? So there's a part of the history that's being left out to show dominant and white supremacy, so-called. That black people are peasants, they're lazy, they're not going to do nothing. But we're the ones who built this nation. But if you ever look at certain areas of California, different parts of the 50 states of the Moorish Empire, the Moroccan Empire, then you're going to understand that Roswell and all those places were burnt down by Europeans because they didn't want us, or the Asiatics, to have our own. So what they did was they sent a people of lynchmen and people to burn down the cities because they wanted us to be subservient to them. Now, I'm just here to give you a brief synopsis on what's going on. The same thing that you see in Burbank and all this other stuff in Hollywood, and all these so-called black people and all these people of the Boule and the Omega Psi Phi, Kappa Alpha Phi, Alpha Omega Alpha, so on and so on. They're all part of the secret society. But yet still, joining a fraternity doesn't make you better than, or does not grant you a job that you're supposed to have. And the only reason why these ones are gangbanging in these fraternities and sororities is because it's connected to the Masonic order. Martin Luther King was Alpha Phi Alpha. That's a fraternity he joined. Malcolm X never joined a fraternity, except Nation of Islam. But that's also a fraternity that operates at 32 degrees as well, because Elijah Muhammad has a book called 32 Degrees. How are you going to have a book called 32 Degrees now unless you were amazing yourself? Members of the Order Science Symbol of America makes it plain and clear. Master Farah Muhammad, aka D4L, and Elijah Muhammad Arpul Bey, members of the Order Science Symbol of America. But Elijah Muhammad said in a message to the black man for help at page number 5, he always says that Noble Drew Ali was a great man. How are they going to say Noble Drew Ali was a great man? He said that Noble Drew Ali was a great man. But we have John Muhammad, who was a bloodline brother of Arpul Bey, and said that he was never a member of the Order Science of America. So why did he put that in the message to black men in America? See, these are things that has to be really thought about. These are things that have to be really questioned, but you're not going to question these things. You know why? Because they're going to dumbfound you with information. The Nation of Islam and all these other Islamic groups that represent black people, so supposedly, you can't say that we came from blackness. Yes, our hair is black, but it doesn't make us a black people. These are things that you have to question, but the word black in etymology means pale.
Pale.
So how can we be black?
Yeah. How can we be black?
But all in all, the only serenity you can grant and have a peace of mind is yourself. But some situations don't allow you to have a peace of mind where you're constantly being attacked from all sources. And the only way out of that is removing yourself from the situation. And I'm going to add this to my notes, because there's a lot that's going on that a lot of people think that these Europeans are privileged. And there's only a chosen few that are privileged who serve the devil, go to their religion of choice, but yet still they serve the devil themselves. Even your ministers, preacher man, is amazing. You don't even know. You have to keep in mind what's truly going on, what's safe and what's not. Just because someone appears to look like they have your best interest doesn't mean that it's accurate. You have to take into consideration that whatever is glitter is not gold. Just because it's gold doesn't mean it's gold. Just because it's silver doesn't mean it's silver. You have to really observe a situation and listen to people talk, because the first 15 minutes of conversation, if they keep rambling on, they're going to tell on themselves regardless. The devil's always in the details. And this is something that y'all have to take into consideration. Without doubt or contradiction. But this is something that y'all have to really think about. Definitely. Islam. There's a lot to really take into consideration. One thing in life you must understand is there's duality. And for those people,
Islam. I see we have someone here from Israel. You know what? You can speak your Hebrew, but I don't speak Hebrew with all due respect. And yeah, you from here from Israel. I don't see where Israel serving the best purpose of the so-called Negro, blacks, and coloreds. And I don't see the synagogues or the Hebrew Israelites uplifting the people, because they're all part of the boule. They're all part of the same club. Whether you want to know it or whether you want to accept it or not, they're all part of the same club. The Jewish people, the one who are the so-called, hijacked the Hebrew language, they speak Yiddish, they tainted the whole thing that they're the chosen people. You're not chosen. You're chosen by the devil. You're chosen by Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. Because you're absolutist. You don't come into the community of these so-called black communities in these ghettos, and you don't tell people that, you know what I'm saying, that their nationality is Moorish. You don't do none of that. You're in it for your selfish self. And the truth ain't in you. You're the children of the devil, just like you're the synagogues of Satan. So I don't get where the Jewish community has uplifted any so-called black people or any Asian or whatever. You can sit here and claim that you Israel all you want, but Israel's a modern name. The original name of Israel is called Palestine. Israel, the name Israel wasn't even in existence during the time of Jesus or Solomon. Or Yeshua, I should say. Let me make that plain and clear for y'all. I said, this is a variety topic of lessons in life. But you have to understand and study the teachings for yourself without doubt or contradiction. And I'm going to be real and say this much. Christianity is based off the Pope, Gregory, the Jewish synagogues of Satan. That's 2. The third one is Masons and Eastern Stars, and your Rothschild Rockefellers. These are the ones who is funding all these satanic organizations. See, they could talk about they love God and all this other stuff, but now the question is, who is truly your God and what is your God's name? You can't say with it's the one with the uppercase G, not the lowercase g. I'm not falling for that. They doing tricks in the sky. They got demigods. Unless you understand the situation at hand, that you cannot dictate to me nothing. Because I'm a brother who studies. I may not know Hebrew, but I don't know what this one said in Hebrew, but I'm going to do my homework and see what this says. And I'm going to come back on another show, and I'm going to clown or come at someone. Because if you hear from Israel, you are not about Shalom, you're not about the Islam, then you need to get off my channel. That's real. Now, I see that we have a lot of people who really are heartless and really are careless. They don't care about uplifting the people. And those people who are detrimental to your life, such as those ones in those specific organizations, whether it be Islamic, whether it be Christian, whether they be Jew, whether it be Hebrew, Israelite, whatever. You have to separate yourself from the devil, because the devil is never satisfied. Your satisfaction to gain everything in the world is your ego. And your ego is your lower self. It will never be a higher self. You have to be the one situations and these dynamics. You can't go on continue thinking that you're doing everything right and everything's all good. You got the flashy car, you got this decked out. So basically, where in the living trust do you have anything to leave your descendants? Where do you have in the living trust to leave that apartment that you're renting and pass it down to your children? You can't pass down an apartment to your children. What are you thinking? Yeah, you keep having those, eating that poor dieting and that red 40 and that blue dye and that yellow dye and all them Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, I used to eat that stuff too, but I don't eat that stuff no more. That stuff is garbage. See, when you eat better, you think better. When you eat right, you think right. When you eat right, you love right. When you love right, you treat people right. I mean, you don't want to be bothered with certain incidents and situations that you've been in, but I mean, one day you're going to have to deal with it, or you're just going to just pay the piper themselves. And don't even realize that they're being scammed. We're all being scammed here. The dollar doesn't mean nothing. That pocket full of celery, that green and white, has no value. The value of the dollar is about to depreciate. All this fad and fraud and, looking a certain way and dressing a certain way just to be accepted by your peers. There's something wrong with you. You have an emptiness within yourself that you was not even taught confidence of high self-esteem. You have to be the one to decide what you're going to do. No, afros was not a fad in the 70s. It just so happens that's the course of hair of Moorish people, how they could grow their hair, and they made a style. We've been having afros since over 10,000 years ago. We've been having braids and locks and cornrows over 10,000 years ago. Europeans don't know nothing about that. That's not their hairstyle. They try to mimic us. They try to mimic us with the locks and all that other stuff. That stuff looks disgusting to me. And this is not hate. This is the truth. Anytime a colonist or a person of Esau or the Edomites trying to copy something that they can't originate from, or they have no culture, they want to steal what you got as yours, and then they want to make it their own. This is what is going throughout history. So the question is, who built Rome? Who built Greece? Who built Europe the way it is right now? It definitely wasn't the Europeans, because they have no architect skills, no mathematical skills. Because if anything, that Colosseum everything was built by us. Even the Wall of China was built by the Moors. Even Chinatown was built by China was built by us, the Moors. We're the ones who civilized nations. Other nations who came after us did not civilize us. As Malcolm X said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. That rock landed on us. Well, that rock of salvation is how we civilized Europe and taught them everything they need to know. Those same chevrons is Arabic numbers. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. And see, this is all the stuff they got in the Pentagon and the Library of Congress and all that other stuff. Everything I'm saying to you now, they have all this stuff up here, so that way it can just be of an existence to be a consumer. The more you consume, the more they get rich. The less they consume, the less they get rich. You have to file chapter 11 in the first 10 chapters of whatever you want to call it. See, you have to strongly understand these conditions of buying luxury. Me personally, I'm not all for having a car and all this other stuff, because you know what? It breaks down. These ones got issues. So the only thing I can say is that you have to make a decision on what you're going to do for yourself. You can't let no one dictate to you. You can't let some colonists come tell you what you can and cannot do, and what is law and what is not law. You have to study law for yourself. You have to do your own homework. You have to practice 2 Timothy verse 2, verse 15. Study that show thyself approved. Like I said in my previous shows, I cannot sit here and make up and fabricate any information where I think perhaps is true, because all along we have been taken away from the platform of thinking for ourselves and thinking what is logical. But yet still, if we don't do this, sign this birth certificate, we could be held accountable for whatever. Or if our child don't get immunized, which is full of poison, which causes eczema, Alzheimer's, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and all these other diseases to the body, and learning disabilities, and etc., then we can't enter our children in school. But we fail to understand law, and the law of the land revolves under the Constitution. That's what I have to say about that situation. When you understand the conditions, when you understand the state of mind, When you understand things that you have allowed your children to be punished behind some immunization shots, or you have been punished by some immunization shots, something has to give. Somebody has to open their eyes up and see the truth and study for themselves. You gotta be around a group of people to understand certain things. You can't just go be hanging around peon peasants because they don't know anything. You can't go around Christian people and learn this information I'm giving you. You got to come to the Moorish Science of America to get this information I'm giving you. They're not going to teach you this in the church. They're not going to teach you this in other Islamic organizations. Yes, they have their own marriage laws and stuff like that in Islamic organizations, but they don't have the same thing that Moorish Science has. And it's the salvation. It's on the rock which man builds himself on. It's the heart of man to the heart of Allah. When you start seeing things for yourself, everything begins to make sense. And without what you try to figure this out on your own and hang out with other people, your public defender, the judges ain't gonna give you this information. You gotta think about this on your own. You got to. You gotta choose your friends, and your enemies have already chosen you. So now the question is, what are you going to do to change it? That is the question. What are you going to do to change it? Because I can't change it for you. All I can do is just give you the information to better your condition without doubt or contradiction. But you have to decide which way you're going to go, which decision you're going to make. Now, all I can say is this whole this fake marriage and this whole fake being together and being in a relationship and all this other stuff, y'all need to cut that out. Seriously. You'll catch your significant other on Tinder or on Moco Space or whatever space it may be, and be trying to holler at somebody else. All because you did something wrong. No one has any communication skills. No one has any skills to be articulate or to want to do better for yourself and to better your condition. So if you're not going to better yourself, if you're not going to better your condition, then why be in some fictitious relationship that's going to do you some harm in the long run? This is lessons in life. If you're going to be with somebody and they disrespect their mother and father, they're going to definitely disrespect you. Trust me, I've been through it. I know the game. These ones keep bringing checker pieces to the chess game and they keep losing every single time because they keep being thrown out. They have no idea what they're getting themselves into. They have no thought. They have no understanding of truth. Their portion of truth is based upon what they're being dictated to in society to bamboozle ones, to put you under some type of hypnosis or spell, to cause all this confusion, and that way you could do bodily harm to each other. And guess what they're doing? They're doing it to the microwave transmitted towers. They even admitted it. They want you to put on your driver's license to put a little pink dot that says donor on there, so they know who to go after to get organs from, because the organs are worth a lot of money. So all I gotta say to you is this: you gotta be careful what you put out there. Whatever is in the public is in the public. Whatever is in the private is in the private. But the truth is gonna come to light. So you're gonna have to decide which battle you're gonna choose and what master you're gonna serve. You can't say you're part of democracy and be an ass like a donkey at the same time, because all they do is making an ass out of you and then making an ass out of them. And they're exposing everything they're doing. They put it through the movies and everything. So you don't even have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Me, people want to disrespect the Republic. Well, I don't care what anybody say. I've studied it. If you don't know who the true founding father is of this nation, of the United States of America, then you tell me who the true founding father is, because obviously you don't know. You haven't even studied one side, which is the communist side, the European side, the so-called white man side. You studied his side, but you didn't study the other side to be able to get a better understanding of what is truly going on. They expose everything to you, but yet still you want to be dumbfounded. You don't even want to know. You don't want to know because you don't care to know. You don't have a desire. And every peasant out there, every so-called Latino, Chicano, Hispanic, every so-called black person is a peasant. You're a slave and don't even know it. You're a Christian and you're a slave. You is not only a slave to society, but you're a slave because you signed that birth certificate. You got that Social Security card. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm doing for y'all? I'm gonna point out to y'all when they start really putting the USA in the California driver's license, because they didn't do that earlier. I'm gonna tell it like it is, not how it should be. I'm gonna tell it like it is. There's no point of being angry behind what your brother man Morris Schleif is saying. You can sit here and be angry at the ones who gave you this information. You can be angry at those ones who are the 13 family bankers. You can get very angry at those ones who gave you fraudulent information, but you have no idea what you just got yourself into. Yet still, you have no relief, you have no peace, but you can sit here and pray to a spooky God in the sky that you don't even know where the Most High is, because that's all what they told you. You have no idea. But whatever they put on that news media, whatever they put on that CNN, they're being paid by the slaveholders, the 12, 13 family bankers. And everybody who was involved, you believed everything that they said, and everything they said was a lie. You have no idea what their plan is. As Pra said, the Supreme Dream Team always up with a scheme. And that's what they did. They're up with a scheme. And they're scamming. They're going to put away all these grocery stores. They're going to put away all these things. They're going to pull all this stuff down where you can't get nothing to eat. The Prophet Noble Dream have already in the oral statements. That was written down by the Secretary. Praise Allah for the Secretary. You must understand that all the stuff about having cash on hand and all the stuff is going to be given to you is going to lead to your destruction. This money that we have in our pockets is going to divide families. That living trust ain't going to mean nothing if you don't own the land. If you don't proclaim your nationality and stop calling yourself black. Oh, I love my blackness. Yeah, you love being evil. You love accepting evil. You don't care, no. You thought you knew, but you don't know. You know what you got yourself into. The show must go on. You can't win the chess game if you don't know how to play. And that's the game that they're playing right now, is a game of chess. And right now, the democracy is about to be put in checkmate because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Republican, and you notice every Republican who goes into office always gets persecuted. I mean, if you think I'm lying, look what happened to Kennedy. Kennedy wasn't shot by Roswell. Kennedy was shot by someone who was closest to him. I mean, you got to understand, our society goes so far deep, and the rabbit hole goes so far deep where you don't even understand. And even if they tell you who did it, you still wouldn't believe it. If you even say who went to the moon, you still believe it. You can't even verify, you can't even do your homework yourself. You can't even fathom how hard it is out here to live, just to live. And that time is going to come where all those houses are going to go into foreclosure, and I won't be against the grabbing. you really have to take into consideration that your life does not evolve around you. All these ones parading, showing off their bodies, doing this, prostituting themselves, trying to get a measly thing between their legs just to gratify that lower carnal nature. And you wonder why women are crazy. You wonder why men are crazy, because you know what? You so-called men are acting like little boys, and you have little temper tantrum issues, and you need to grow up. Not let alone be the one to do some heavy thinking, and you gotta better your condition. Just because you got testicles like a man doesn't make you a man. Just because you got a deep voice like a man doesn't make you a man, or you a grown man doesn't make you a man. What makes you a man is your characteristics and your free national standards. That's what makes the man. You can go ahead, punch that clock, and do that 9 to 5 all you want, but at the end of the day, it's not even about what role you take up home. It's about how you play that role and what you do to better your situation and better your mind and better to assist other people. That's what it's about. Nothing else. Because if you think you just here just to survive and shine on your own and nobody here to help you and you did everything on your own, so that means if you think you were brought into this world by yourself, no. No man lives unto himself. A man means mind, which means man, woman, and child. Man does not live unto himself. Everything in life is binded by cords by every other living thing. Think about that. Like, for real, for real. We all gotta play the role. There's no such thing as fake it till you make it. Because if you're gonna be faking it, your expression and your authenticity about you is going to be generic. You're going to be artificial, like the artificial intelligence. This lemon cucumber water is good, family. Y'all should get this. This is good. Homemade. Yum, yum. But with that being said, I don't have competition with anybody. The only competition I have is with myself. I'm just here to better my condition. That's all I'm here to do. It's to better my condition, nothing else. We are the ones that have to make a decision on what side we're going to be on. Are we going to be on the side of the republic, or are we going to be on the side of democracy? Nevertheless, we have to take into consideration that everything we're seeing right now is just a manifest of what may be reality is not reality. All the stuff going on with the LBGTQIA and all this other stuff. You know what? I was up early in the AM today. And you know what I noticed? I said something kept playing over and over again. I'm like, what the heck is this? Well, if you want this, then you need a trans what? No, thank you. No, I prefer a woman. No, I prefer a woman. Thank you very much. Because see, the same way a man makes love to a woman is not the same way a man makes sodomy with another man. I can never understand or fathom how someone can sodomize someone else and expect to make a baby when the back door says exit only. Well, you're gonna be serving a lot of diseases doing sodomizing somebody. And I think they're using that word sodomy out of context and character, because sodomy is when someone takes a male's manhood and sticks it in someone's butt. A man cannot sodomize a woman if he's putting his manhood in her vagina. That's not sodomy. I don't know where they got this term from, second, third degree of sodomy, because doesn't make sense. See how these whispers around the Cora family? That's what they do. They be lying. So, in all actuality, you gotta think for yourself. You gotta do your own homework. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna read what you saw based upon the information you receive. Certain times, you just wish you had not heard this information or received this information, but you're gonna have to receive it one way or another. Because all this confusion going on is what's causing chaos, and that's what they want. Can't go on thinking that everything's gonna be all peaches and cream, family. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what you choose. To a certain degree, it's all about what you choose. Because you cannot choose to live anywhere based upon your income. They've already did the redlining, as I said earlier today. Now, you all have a choice to make. The choice is yours, family. All the stuff that they have at the stores of vegan and all this other stuff, y'all need to be really careful with that. For real, for real. Be very, very careful with that. I'd rather grow food. If you don't grow your own food, I don't know what to say to you. Yo, they getting reckless over here, though. Yeah, buddy. If you don't recognize the truth in front of you, then I don't know, maybe you choose not to see things for what it is. If you're not trying to learn everything, that means you're stuck, you're stagnant. You can't remain stagnant based upon hearsay and parakeeting what you heard, and you ain't did the homework for yourself. I can't fathom the inconsistency that's going on in our society. I can't continue to live life in lies and deceit behind other people's words, because at the end of the day, it's all about perception. What you receive is what you choose to believe. And sometimes it's not what you think it is all the time. You are the one to choose what you're going to listen to, what you're going to receive, and what you're not going to receive. I thought the Bible says, ask and you shall receive, but then again, you got ones talking about they can't question the word of God. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna question it. Is your guy gonna come down and strike me down or something? Try me. I question everything that I don't understand. We really got to be very careful, family, of who we talk to and who we give information to, because we can harm each other. It can't be done. No one knows, and no one will ever will know. So nevertheless, we gotta be vigilant. We gotta be vanguards of our hearts and minds. We have to protect our hearts and minds. We have to protect our hearts and minds of our family. Because a lot of time, the person in the pulpit or whatever the case may be may not serve our best interest. And we will never know and we'll never understand until we decide what's going to happen. So, it's all about choice. There in our life, since this nation's got started, our freedom was stripped from us when the birth certificate and Social Security card was signed. Our freedom is limited. You can't put limited and freedom together because they're finite, not infinite. So I'm going to let you decide what you're going to do. Are you going to proclaim your nationality and disown being Christian, being black? Or are you going to be the one to uplift yourself? And if the old people don't want to be uplifted, leave them be. Because at the end of the day, you don't have a choice but to be yourself and love yourself. You don't have no choice, family. Because at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Are you going to continue to live this lifestyle you live in? Or are you going to continue to be stagnant? Continue to gang bang and kill each other and do what the Ku Klux Klan wants you to do. Do what the Masons and Eastern Stars want you to do, because they don't care. Walk around with your pants hanging down and sagging, thinking that's cute. And you dress like a harlot. You gangbangers are dressed like little slave boys. And you gangbanger women and you fake ghetto women, fake loud Jezebel women are dressing like harlots too. And you ain't no different. I'm calling all of y'all out who want to do this. You have no respect for yourself if you're going to dress like a harlot. Dress like a little slave boy, little slave girl, like a peasant. You have no idea. You never will. Because you caught up in this game of scheme and you don't even know what to do with yourself. And you losing every single time. So why don't you do yourself a favor and why don't you tell your boyfriend to go get a boyfriend-girlfriend license and obligate yourself to boyfriend-girlfriend, see if that can happen. Because last I checked, in my early 20s, I used to have a girlfriend. And I always ask myself, why am I checking the box single if I have a girlfriend? So who's lying to who? See, that's what you call articulate thinking, family. You gotta be the one to do the thinking for yourself. I can't do it for you. By the end of the day, it's all about what you choose. And you always gotta do the right thing. No matter what. So, if y'all think I'm lying about this whole situation that's going on with the whole Jewish community, then why do they tell the Jewish people who work for the World Trade Center don't show up to work on September 11th? Because yes, they're God's chosen people. And their God is the devil. So, I'm going to let y'all choose what to think and what not to think. Everything that you're consuming right now doesn't serve your purpose. Just think about it. Everybody who's going to work right now has to wear a uniform or wear this, wear that. You're wearing master clothes. You're wearing what his uniform tells you to wear. The uniform shirt, the pants, etc. Because you represent that corporation. You represent that plantation. And all it is just you gangbanging on the plantation. All these NFL, all these sports teams are all part of the slave trade. They weigh you, see how much you weigh, how tall you are. They put you on a team, and then you get traded. Slave trade, mental slave trade, physical slave trade. I don't think anybody watched the game with Pooch Hall and I forgot the other person's name, but they were talking about that in the TV show too. See, nobody's paying attention to the details. The devil's always into details. The devil's going to tell you what the plan is. Now the question is, are you going to pay attention? Or are you just going to let things go and let it go how it's supposed to go? I'm going to let you decide all that, because at the end of the day, it's all about what you receive and what you reject. All these ones with this fake hair and all this other stuff and fake eyelashes and going back to the whole Jezebel thing. Yeah, I'm talking about y'all. That's not cute to me. I will never pick a woman with long eyelashes like that and she gotta put leads press on eyelashes. It's not cute to me. That's not that's not how you were born, don't wear it. Man, you're so fake, you make Barbie look real. All this, I guarantee you, if I drive a Cadillac right now, I'll be having so many so-called black Jezebel women come up to me. They are more astonished by the car than they are me. They want to get to know me so they can get in my ride. This is why I don't drive no Cadillac. It's just a luxury car that just put a high price tag on it. That's all they do. This is all they do. I'm going to be real. I don't care what none of these ones have to say. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you got to make a choice. Fix not suddenly, or not pressure towards depends on future happiness. That's what you have to do. Fix not suddenly. So, I'm about to cut this short on this live channel. Thanks for joining in on Lessons in Life Part 11. I'm surprised I actually did this. But yeah, shout out to Angie, Angelica, Angel, Angela. Yes. Shout out to those who I've met who are in the show, who are going live. Shout out to all my subscribers and all those who love the show. Remember, your future is what you make it. That's what Doc Brown said. Islam, peace, love, heaven high. I'll close it out with the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, Jew Ali, Ameen, Islam. Peace and love.